Welcome back to the channel, everyone. On this channel, we bring you daily breaking news, deep market analysis, and the real professional insights on XRP so that you never miss any important update that could impact your investment decision. So if you truly follow XRP and want to stay ahead of the crowd, make sure you stay connected with this channel, because what happens quietly today always becomes the big headline tomorrow. Now, today, the entire crypto market is watching one name very closely, and that name is XRP, the digital asset associated with Ripple. And if you've been tracking today's updates carefully, you will notice something very interesting is happening beneath the surface, because even though trading volume has increased sharply and activity looks strong on paper, the price itself is struggling to move with real strength. This detail alone tells us that today's market is far more complex than it appears. So let's begin with the most important signal from today's data, okay? XRP has seen a noticeable surge in trading volume, but despite this increased activity, the price keeps failing to hold above its recent resistance zone. In a professional market behavior, when volume rises, put price does not fall. It usually means supply is overpowering demand. So in simple words, large holders are slowly selling into retail buying. This is not a panic selling. This is a quiet control distribution, and that is why many professionals would describe the current zone not as a breakout zone, but as a distribution phase. At the same time, Bitcoin made a sudden upside move today that triggered heavy liquidations across the broader crypto market. But even during that move, XRP underperformed. So this is a very important warning sign. In strong bullish conditions, quality altcoins normally move with faster than Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin rises and the coin fails to keep up, it signals that capital rotation is not favoring that asset at that moment. And when a coin shows relative weakness during a market surge, it often becomes more vulnerable during the next pullback. So now let's talk about the headline that created a lot of excitement today. A well-known investor reportedly sold all of their Bitcoin and went all in on XRP. To many people, this sounds extremely bullish, but from a professional market perspective, this is not a liquidity shifting event. It is a settlement shifting event. One individual cannot move a multi-billion-dollar market structure. So what such a headlines actually do is anti-emotional buying among retail participants. And historically, emotional buying usually appears near short-term tops where institutions find easy exit like liquidity. So then we come to the most aggressive narrative circulating right now, the idea of XRP reaching $10 in the near term. This number sounds exciting, but professionals never analyze markets based on emotion. So they analyze based on market capitalization, liquidity, debt, institutional flow, and macro adaptation. So for XRP to reach that level, realistically, it would require massive global institutional onboarding into cross-border crypto payment infrastructure at a scale that simply does not exist yet. So right now, the liquidity depth required for that kind of move is not present. Now, let's address the strongest long-term advantage XRP truly has, and that is regulatory clarity. So compared to many large crypto assets, XRP holds one of the strongest legal positioning narratives going forward. Over long investment horizons, regulation determines which assets survive and which slowly fade away. So however, markets always price is in expectations in advance, but the time regulatory clarity becomes obvious to everyone, the price often has already reflected most of that optimism. So this makes regulation a powerful long-term positive driver, but not always a short-term price booster. So from a technical perspective today, XRP is sitting in very sensitive structure. Resistance above remains firm after repeated rejections, but support below is exposed if selling pressure increases. So momentum indicators are weakening. Liquidity flow is leaning slightly toward the sell side. And in professional trading language, this means this is not an optimal environment for aggressive long positions. This is a market that rewards patience, discipline, and precise timing, not emotional entries. Now, when we combine all of today's news into one clear picture, the message becomes very simple. In the short term, XRP is showing signs of distribution rather than strong accumulation. Upside exists, but it is limited without a fresh bullish catalyst. So downside risk is present if Bitcoin loses momentum again. And in the midterm, XRP can regain strength if Bitcoin consolidates and true altcoin rotation and begins. Yeah, but that rotation must be proven through price action, not hope. And in the long term, XRP still has one of the most meaningful utility-based narratives in crypto throughout real-world payment infrastructure, but that growth will be slow structure and step-by-step, not explosive overnight. So the professional verdict today is very clear. XRP is not weak fundamentally, but it is not strong technically in the short term. So it is currently trapped between long-term potential and the short-term market distribution. So, and this exact zone is where inexperienced traders usually get trapped by excitement instead of structure. So if you need to understand this phase correctly, you protect your capital. If you ignore it, you become liquidity for those who already understand it. And this is actually, that is your complete XRP update for today. Not just the headlines, but the real meaning behind them.